Hello, people of YouTube. Welcome back to this channel. My name's Abby. This is my second video on this channel. Basically, this video is just going to be explaining what exactly anxiety is for anyone out there who may not know or may think they might have it and are not sure. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist, not anything like that. I really have no idea what I'm doing. So just keep that in mind. I'm just here to let you all know what I think anxiety is, and how I struggle with it. Anyway, let's get into it. So, anxiety, in my words, is when you just have these thoughts in your head, and they're just, it's just a feeling. Like, it's really hard to explain, but really it's just okay. One way my psychologist once explained it to me is, say you have a couple cars in a parking lot, and one car, you bash it and you smash it and you smash the windows in and no alarms go off, and the car next to it, a feather will land on its windscreen and its sirens will start blaring immediately. That's one way of explaining what it's like to have anxiety. As you can probably, some of you may know, or if you don't know, anxiety and depression can sometimes go hand in hand. For me, they do. And as you probably know, or if you don't, it's also very, very exhausting. I struggle with it every day. It's not a phase thing like some people think it is. Like, oh, you're just a teenager, whatever, you'll grow out of it. I've been like this my whole life, so I don't think I'm going to grow out of it somehow. So I guess I'll explain to you when I sort of found out that I had anxiety. Apologies if this is a longer video. As I said in my previous video, I'm probably not going to be editing these videos very much, if at all, because I'm lazy, and B, I really don't know how to edit, so bear with me. I don't know what normal feels like, to be honest. When I was a kid, I'm the eldest of quite a few children, and just my whole life I've struggled with anxiety and depression. I didn't know it until I was about 13, I think. Yeah, 13. So when I was 13, that was my first year in high school. I was in grade 8. And first of all, I was really struggling with high school. I'm a very high achiever, as I'm sure some people with anxiety can relate. An A is all I strive to get. A B is not good enough, even though it is. People tell me that it is, but it's so hard to believe when you get that B and you're so disappointed. Anyway, besides the point, getting off track here already. In grade 8, I was already struggling really bad with the transition from primary to high school. In Australia, we don't have middle school, so it's straight from primary to high school. So in grade 8, I was really struggling. I had spoken to the school counsellor and the school year coordinator a few times. They couldn't really help me. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick at the moment, so I apologise if I make strange noises. Not feeling great, but anyway, yeah, and so I was really struggling with all the workload. I was really stressed all the time. I'd come home and just cry. I hated school. I've hated school all my life, but high school just made it that much more difficult. So, yeah, and then later in grade 8, I think it was term 3, so later in the year, one of my close family members passed away, and I think that was the first time that I'd really experienced death for real. Like, the last time I had a person pass away was when I was 7 years old, and at that point I really didn't understand what it was all about. I didn't understand what was going on, and I really didn't know that person that well either, so it was all just a bit, whatever, let's move on. So yeah, I guess this was my first experience with death. It devastated me, to say the least. I struggled for a long time after that. But when I went back to school, so I had about a week off, I think, when that person passed away. And I remember the first class I went to was English. And I didn't really ever gel with any of my teachers at high school yet, whatever. But I remember, I think I handed her a note or something explaining what had happened. And she just pretty much immediately took me under her wing, and it was amazing. It was the first person I'd felt close with in a long time. I'm not really too close with my parents, to be honest, so that's another issue that I'll explain another time. But yeah, so this teacher basically took me under her wing and really helped me a lot in this difficult time. But then it wasn't even about the end of that year, I think, she really started to distance herself. And I look back now and I see that it was probably a little bit like crossing the line between like teacher and student, but I was just longing for that close connection that I just really tried to hold on to her so much. And she was stepping back, and that devastated me a second time. Like I felt like I'd lost someone else, because I'd never felt that close to someone before. Like not in a just in an emotional kind of way, because she'd helped me through that, well, she tried to help me through that time, and then I was losing her, so I was devastated. And yeah, that's around the time my anxiety really came out, and we started to think, well, hang on a second, something might be wrong here. This isn't normal, although my mother does say that she looks back now and thinks that, yeah, times when I was little, I definitely had anxiety, and we just didn't know it yet. One time, well, it was multiple times, when I was 7-ish, I just had these breathing episodes, and I just felt like I couldn't breathe, and I had to hit a certain point in my chest, and it was so weird. And I was taken to ED a couple times, and every time they told me there was nothing wrong, and we just really didn't know what to do. But then one time we went and they said, do you think it could be a panic attack? And we had no idea what that was. And so, yeah, I guess that's when we kind of thought maybe something is wrong here. And so, yeah, ever since then, we've known that I've had anxiety. I've tried so many things. I've tried multiple medications, been off and on them. They've made me sick. I've been to multiple psychologists, psychiatrists, counsellors, etc. Nothing really has helped me. The only thing, well, there are a few things that kind of help, but not a lot. So, but I'll talk about those in another video. This one's just kind of explaining, obviously, what anxiety is in my experience. So, anyway, I'm now a lot older, obviously, and I've suffered with anxiety all through high school. It was really hard, especially towards the end. I know there's not a lot of people on YouTube that put this out into the internet because it is scary, and trust me, I'm terrified, even though I don't look it. Yeah, in grade 11, which is the second last year of high school, if you're not in Australia, I was really severely depressed for a better part of the year. And I started to have these thoughts, and they were really scary thoughts. I don't really like to recount them, but for the sake of this YouTube channel, I will, because I know there's people out there that can benefit from this. So I started to have scary thoughts. I never planned anything. There was never a plan. I would just have these random, sporadic, suicidal thoughts, and I still have them. I still struggle with them, but I think that's when they really started, back in grade 11, because obviously grade 11 was senior in high school. I still had grade 12, but grade 11 is still a pretty painful year. I was trying to get straight A's. I was pulling almost all-nighters, getting really stressed over schoolwork when I shouldn't have. I was taking a lot of time off school and just staying in bed all day. I felt horrible. I felt angry and irritable a lot of the time. But yeah, and then these thoughts started, and they were really terrifying, and I was seeing a psychologist at the time, and she was really worried. And so she told my mother, and one night we ended up back at ED, which is the emergency department, for those of you who don't know. So yeah, we ended up there. We sat there for 4 hours, I think. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick. And then we just went and talked to someone, and they sent me home. They didn't help me. They didn't give me any advice, really. I knew I didn't want to stay in hospital, but at the same time, there was a part of my mind that was like, well, maybe you'll be safer in hospital. I hate hospitals, by the way. I hate them. I can't stand them. But yeah, they're just scary to me. They're really scary places. Maybe not for some, but for me, they terrify me. So anyway, yeah, this video is already 14 minutes long. That's great. So anyway, fast forward quite a few years later, here I am. I'm still here. I managed to work through those times. I still struggle every day, believe me. Some days are harder than others. I've been pretty depressed in the last week or so, because I've been sick for about a month now, well, a month and a bit, and I have been admitted to hospital twice, and as I just said, hospitals terrify me, and so that was really traumatizing experience. I hated it both times. Anyway, so hopefully there are other people out there. You guys might be feeling the same way, have gone through the same things, are feeling like I've described. Yeah, so this is just my take on it, my experience. As I said in my last video, these videos are kind of going to be me trying to just work through life, I guess, as I can. We'll see where life takes us, I guess. But yeah, at the moment, I'm feeling okay. I have a really sick feeling in the back of my throat because I don't want to go to work on Monday. Because I've been off for a while and I'm still not feeling well. I still feel quite ill. So that's really stressing me out, having to go back. But yeah, so hopefully, I don't know, this helped some of you out there. Thank you for listening to this big ramble. Not sure if any of this made sense. But yeah, anyway, hope you found something useful in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's probably pretty crappy quality and whatever, so yeah, just thank you for giving me your time, and subscribe down below if you want to. If you don't like me already, if you're going to be nasty and negative, please don't. Please just click off this video right now, go watch someone else. It's no use subscribing to me. Why would you do that? Alright, that's it from me, guys, I guess, and I'll hopefully see you in another video. Alright, bye guys.